I know we were expecting some new developments this weekend, but some of them have failed quality control. Make sure you indicate what you'd like redeveloped via the workstation.
Hey, what's going on, it's aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2018 career mode, part number 8 today for the French Grand Prix here at Paul Ricard, where we begin the episode with a bit of bad news. The major chassis weight reduction has failed on our car and is not installed for the French Grand Prix, which is a big shame because that was a major upgrade, and here at Paul Ricard, a very difficult circuit, a very confusing circuit, that upgrade would have been useful. You can see the little slump that's given us here, and pretty much almost a straight line for us in terms of development ever since the MONACO Grand Prix, and you can see McLaren and Renault both in tandem are improving steadily since the Canadian Grand Prix, and they're catching us actually, and I think that's pretty much them, the closest they've been to our chart since probably the Spanish Grand Prix just before Monaco. So they made a good step up, so they might be a bit more of a challenge at this race than I wanted them to, but we'll take it in our stride. But first of all, yeah, it's Paul Ricard here at the French Grand Prix, the first time ever I'm going to be driving the French Grand Prix circuit at my home setup. Of course, I did it at the preview event, but that was a little bit different, so this is going to be a real tough challenge just to get used to the circuit before even attempt qualifying and the race. Let's get into practice though.
Welcome to the circuit Paul Ricard here in the south of France, where we're about to get underway for free practice. Welcome then to all our viewers, and of course to Anthony Davidson as well. Now Ant, I wanted to ask you, obviously there's a lot of hard work involved in these sessions, a lot of simulations as well. Is this something the drivers enjoy, or is it just a routine that becomes a chore?
There's nothing routine about driving a Formula 1 car, I can tell you that. 300 kilometers per hour down the straights, 4G through the corners. It's hard to ignore those forces acting on your body. It's lap after lap of hard, exhausting work. You always enjoy driving these cars, it's a real privilege. Although I must say, if you're having a day where you can't get the car to do what you want and it's generally underperforming, then it's a lot harder to stay motivated. But never a chore, no. Even if you're having a tough start to the weekend, at this point you know that if you work hard at it, there's still an opportunity to turn things around.
So for the first time, I'm going to show you a raw on board then of practice in this session, because this is my very first lap of Paul Ricard. You can see I'm doing the track acclimatization, and just want to kind of show you what occurs, because I was very confused at the circuit. I wasn't too sure, okay, where I'm meant to brake, how fast can I go into these corners, and so I just chuck it in here on the right hander, going a bit too hot for the left, go really wide, big lock up, and then the Toro Rosso comes and slams me, and that is the practice program over for now. Front wing damage, thank you very much, Brennan Hartley. But eventually, after some more testing of the limits of the circuit, trying to, especially for this part of the circuit, the main straight and the brake zone into what is many multiple chicanes there, couldn't find the right one and I went straight on. Eventually though, got to grips with the circuit, and actually I gotta say, when you hook up a lap around Paul Ricard and you're in the zone, it is actually a very nice circuit to drive. To watch the race in real life obviously wasn't an absolute thriller and a half, but it was still pretty enjoyable in real life, and so I hope that it can be a good one here in the game. Obviously with the aggressive AI, good slipstream, and the ERS deployment, I think we can have a lot of fun in the race. Obviously we have to qualify well, but before that we have to get through the practice programs, which we did eventually. Nothing major to really report. They seemed all pretty doable, so no kind of warnings to any of you guys who are going to get the game later this week. That is one that's particularly difficult, so we got through that. And then before we get into quali though, we apply components to change out some. We're going to change our internal combustion engine. We're not going to change the MGU-H just yet, because the parts where I only have 2 available for the entire year, I'm going to try and stretch those. I'll change everything else where I have 3 available, but those 2 different ones where I only have 2 available, I'm going to try and stretch even more. So yeah, with that in mind, let's go to quali then.
The circuit has rubbed in with practice, but this is still a difficult session as our drivers fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying for the French Grand Prix. Looking at this field today, Ant, do you think we're going to see anyone take a chance, maybe run the harder of the available compounds and save some of the grippy tyres for the race tomorrow?
Well, I'd be surprised in all honesty. It's only the front runners that really have the pace to get away with that, and even then, at the end of the day, it's a big risk. Track position is the most important thing, and it's rarely worth sacrificing for a slightly more optimal strategy in the race, so I doubt we're going to see anyone trying it. I have been wrong before though. We certainly do see some risky decisions every now and then, and it's a gamble that's sometimes worth taking. But if it were me in the car, I would want to be on the fastest tyre for my qualifying lap, without a doubt.
Right, so here we are then, the first time flying around Paul Ricard with any kind of anger with us. Obviously, practice is just pretty straightforward, just getting the programs done. This is the first time we can really push the track to the limits, and slowly but surely finding some more confidence in the car. Definitely now finding the correct brake point for the chicane. If you're struggling yourselves once you get the game, guys, I'd recommend you basically count the brake point marker boards, the black ones on the right hand side. That's the easiest way I eventually kind of got used to it, but I can't lie, still mid-race I think sometimes I was still having to double check myself about which turn-in I'm turning into, because unlike real life, the game for some reason does not have the painted white lines to separate the actual F1 track from the other different configurations, so it definitely can be a little confusing, but eventually the muscle memory kicks in as well and you can start to remember it. But wasn't the best lap though. Still at this stage in quali I was still getting used to it. I don't think I really got the lap hooked up until pretty much the end of the actual race itself, you'll see at the end of the video. But in quali it was still a little bit hazy, and so we go out on super soft tyres and I go faster than I did on ultra softs, because that's how bad I did on that first lap in terms of going around with any sort of momentum there. I was much more comfy the second time round on the ultra soft tyres, on the super softs I should say, in terms of actually feeling comfy with the track layout and going a bit faster around it. That I out-qualified myself on super soft. So we got through. Also the sun going down a little bit at the very end of Q1 also helped a little bit, I feel, because it just kind of stops the sun glare, because especially into turn 1 the sun glare is quite bad. Like literally the sun falls right on the apex of turn 1, so you're literally turning in blind into turn 1 a lot of the time in the race, and in quali as well, depending on the conditions of the weather and the cloud cover. Obviously this year's game they've done a lot of work on the clouds, so it really does affect the lighting quite dramatically compared to other year's games. So we go through then in Q2 on this flyer lap on the ultra soft tyres across the line, and it's not particularly going to be an amazing lap. It's P10 at the moment, which is good enough to get us into Q3. As we go on there, we're bumped down to P11 and we need to go out again, and we're on another set of ultra soft tyres then. It's very overcast indeed right now, so maybe the track time's going to cool, but as we come through the final corner, look at the top right. I have not timed this correctly at all, and I am out of Q2 for the first time in a long while. P11 there. Magnussen gets into Q3. That is disappointing. Disappointed to say the least. Frustrated with myself. I didn't time that correctly. I probably spent too much time on the time sheet to see myself go down to P11. I probably should have just assumed that wasn't a good enough lap time and gone out again, but that was the gamble I was making, that I could sit there and watch myself fall down the order. So yeah, I mean, we get a free choice of tyres though for the race, so that's the only positive here, is we're the highest up we could be with a free choice of tyres. So let's take that as a positive into the race, and let's hit it and go to the grid.
Welcome to Le Castellet as we return from across the Atlantic for the 2018 French Grand Prix. The last time Formula One cars raced at the circuit Paul Ricard, Alain Prost took Ferrari's 100th Grand Prix victory and the 42nd of his own illustrious career. That was 28 years ago, when half of the drivers on the grid today had yet to be born. And how, I wonder, will that legacy continue in the modern era? The circuit Paul Ricard then, a 3.6 mile track, 25 miles east of Marseille. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, with the main overtaking chance expected going into turn 8. Top speeds today should be around 205 miles per hour. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk briefly about Fernando Alonso. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Kimi Raikkonen's perfect lap yesterday sees him start from pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Sainz and the engineer, Van Dorn, Gasly, Sergio Perez and Alonso. They've taken a grid penalty. Ocon, Stroll, Charles Leclerc and Brendan Hartley. Ericsson and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So with Fernando Alonso taking a penalty there, I move up 1 place into 10th place, so in the top 10 already on the grid, and the rule still stands that I can choose a free choice of tyres, and that's going to allow me to do a pretty simple one-stop here, super soft to the soft tyre. Not a lot of tyre wear, it seems, on the super soft or the soft tyre. I mean, I'm nearly going halfway through the Grand Prix on super softs. If the rule wasn't there that I had to choose 2 different tyre compounds, I probably could do the entire race on just 2 different sets of super softs, but the rule stands there, so we're going to go from red to yellow, but just going to avoid the ultra softs completely, which is a surprise, but not complaining because I think this strategy could work out. It's going to be overcast all race, but no rain, so let's get into it and let's see what we can do here. Disappointment in quali, but let's make up for it here in this race as we go to 5 red lights for our very first French Grand Prix outing here on the F1 2018 career mode. 5 red lights are out and we're on the way, and it's a great start there for Carlos Sainz, overtaking his teammate, looks like maybe into turn 1 as Van Dorn has also had a really good getaway off the 5 red lights. We're going to dive around the outside of Van Dorn, try and keep it here and get the inside line for the next turn. Van Dorn does well though, but we're going to squeeze him out, and also being squeezed out is Nico Hülkenberg and my teammate Sainz with a double overtake there. Can we go down the inside of 2 cars, 3 wide momentarily, but a big dive there. Had the confidence on the brakes to get that done, and we're up into P8, so that was definitely needed there because Magnussen and Hülkenberg were definitely going to hold me up otherwise. We went 3 wide in that very tight twisty, right and then left, so big dive, worked out, and now we're behind Carlos Sainz. So both myself and Sainz have made a very good getaway. Obviously 2 rivals here that I've chosen him as my main rival alongside my teammate in the game, so quite fitting that we're both here now in P7, P8, and we'll see what we can do from here. But a very gloomy day in Paul Ricard, but I'm not complaining because that means I can actually see where I'm going, because like I said earlier, I don't think you guys can appreciate how annoyed I get at the sun glare in this game sometimes. But we go and overtake Carlos Sainz now in a straight line, but we have to finish off the move in turn 1. He's got the legs on us here on the outside, so we have to get it done under braking into turn 1, and we have done, and we're up into P7 now. So a very good start here at Paul Ricard. And actually up ahead, it's been a bit of a slow start there for the Mercedes guys of Bottas and Hamilton. You've got both Red Bull cars, Verstappen and Ricciardo, line astern. Bit of a Noah's Ark here, 2x2. The 2 Ferraris are waltzing away though. Looks like they have all the pace in the world, but the Mercs, they're definitely in need of an upgrade soon on the R&D front because they're going very slowly at the moment. I don't know if they have issues, but they're holding up this train so much now that I'm going to make a move on Verstappen. He's going so slow in a straight line. I've gone with a bit lower aero on the rear end here on this setup, so I'm a bit slippery in a straight line, so that's going to help us out in this entire race, and we're up ahead of Verstappen using the ERS deployment as well. And yeah, well, at the moment, we're just like Canada, we're battling Red Bulls, which is surprising to be honest, because the way the weekend started, really didn't feel like I was going to be competitive at all at this circuit, but it rapidly just got faster and faster for me. And like I said at the very start of this video, by the end of the race, I feel like I was fully hooked up to this circuit. So I'm actually looking forward to the next time we come back to this circuit in Season 2. I think it's going to be very fun the entire race long. You can see there, I was going so fast into that second last corner, I tapped the back end of Ricciardo there. So my bad, Rick Bobby, but just making sure you knew I was there. And we've got DRS open, but equally he's got DRS from the Mercedes car, so we just don't have the speed like we had with Verstappen to make that move into turn 1. We're going to have to wait, and maybe onto the back straight we could pull something off. We're going to go low on the ERS there, and a lot of the time you'll see throughout this race I'm saving ERS and the battery basically for the kind of middle part of the circuit where all the straights are basically, and all the acceleration zones are. Look at that up ahead. Ricciardo though goes for a move down the inside of Hamilton. A big dive there from Ricciardo. There's contact, smoke there as Ricciardo and Hamilton make contact. We're 3 wide around the outside there. Very audacious move, and we made it work on Ricciardo. He's gone around his outside, and now we might even try and attack Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's got an issue in his car. He's going slower than usual here, and we're going to be down the inside of the flat out corner on the right-hander, and we're up into a very lofty P4 position here behind Bottas in third and the 2 Ferraris. What a great little sequence of corners there for us, and Ricciardo and Hamilton making contact. Thank you very much, guys. And so that was a slam dunk overtake. It looked like Ricciardo just got it too hot into that turn, looks like, and he just went straight on almost and dragged Hamilton with him. So yeah, thank you very much. And now everyone is going to start coming in. That's on ultra soft tyres. So of course we're doing the one stop. We're going a lot longer, nearly halfway through this Grand Prix on this set of tyres. And so we've got the Ferraris in. Bottas is staying out for one more lap, but eventually he will also come in as well, and so it's only a matter of time on, lap 7, we're going to be getting the lead of the French Grand Prix. So, looking very good. Now, I can just focus on saving these tyres, trying to make them go the distance and make sure I'm not dropping too much pace at the end of the stint before I go onto soft tyres, and it's all for everyone else to play with in terms of the traffic, because it's me out in first place on super softs, stops. We've also got some other cars out trying the same strategy with the likes of the McLaren of Stoffel Vandoorne and also Sergio Perez's Force India there. There goes Vandoorne in turns 1 and 2. Perez close behind, so those two might have a battle there. But yeah, that's your top 3. So just like the Monaco Grand Prix, a little bit unorthodox top 3, but I don't think it's anything like Monaco, is it though? Because there's no massive gearbox failure or any kind of major traffic for now. You've got Leclerc though, the 2 Toro Rossos all going long on super softs on a 1-stop. Then you've got the Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen here in a net P1, then Vettel, and then you've got another Toro Rosso car, and then you've got the 2 Mercedes behind this Toro Rosso. So both Ferrari and Mercedes teams are going to have to get through some traffic, but not major traffic, because you would say right now, as we focus on the Mercedes v the Toro Rosso, you would like to think the Mercedes should have the straight line speed here. You know, in real life, we saw so many passes, and it does look like that's going to be the case here. Both the Mercedes cars might even be past the Toro Rosso, yes, and Hamilton makes a big dive from so far back down the inside of Bottas and scares him off the road there, and Bottas makes some contact with the Red Bull. The Red Bull's lost some front wing there. You can see the cascade element flew off there onto the runoff area, so the Red Bull's now got some damage, so that will help us out later in the race, so we need to face the Red Bull car again. But Hamilton, with a big old dive bomb, slipstreamed the Toro Rosso, then his teammate Bottas, and then dived down the inside to the point where he scared him off the road. Yeah, kind of, okay, bit weird. I don't know if the Total Wolf's going to have anything to say about that. Meanwhile, we look at Raikkonen now, overtaking the Alfa Romeo Sauber. Vettel close behind, also wanting to do the same soon, but Raikkonen's going to get on the back of that Toro Rosso next before Vettel can even make the pass on the Sauber. There you go, Raikkonen on the inside, and maybe in the background, Vettel can make the pass on the Sauber. We'll see. It's gone out of shot there, so I can't quite see. No, there you go. Vettel's down the inside, and I only assume that he's made that pass. So, just like in real life now, we're seeing a lot of overtakes, just people shooting by. Perez now overtakes Vandoorne for P2 in this Grand Prix. And yeah, like I was saying before I interrupted myself with the overtake there, like real life, people are just shooting down the inside here. At least I don't know about you guys, but I think most of us on Twitter were very surprised about how easy people were finding it to pass into that chicane, because obviously that was the worry about drivers in real life. They were saying, why is the chicane there? Because it would be better if it was a even longer straight to actually make passing viable, but the passing was viable even into that very high-speed chicane. And so Raikkonen now is overtaking Vandoorne. He's up into 3rd place now in this Grand Prix on the road, and soon it will be P2. I'm only assuming, as he's going to fly through this sector, and the Ferrari car very nimble, and the Force India obviously not even in the midfield fight with McLaren, Renault, and myself and Haas. So the Force India should be easy pickings, just like the McLaren was for the Ferrari car of Raikkonen. And then it will be P2, and the only car left to overtake for Raikkonen then will be me on the road. But of course, I'm going to be coming in probably by the time he closes up to me, so I won't give him the satisfaction. But here goes Raikkonen then on the outside of Sergio Perez to make the overtake. He's made contact with the Force India. He's spun him round. He's completely no-scoped him out of this Grand Prix. And we're going to take a look at a replay here. Different angle, a much better angle. Bit of contact already. And then Perez. Looks like Perez was actually just very stubborn and not letting that place go. And maybe that was his own fault, Sergio Perez. But he's completely just been outed of this Grand Prix maybe. And or at least maybe the points-paying position of this Grand Prix. Looking at a replay on board. Bit of contact already, and I think Raikkonen there loses a bit of front wing, and then he just completely hits Perez. Bit of misjudgment maybe on the pinch there by Raikkonen, or also a case of maybe Perez kept his foot in a bit too much. And so Vandoorne will get a free P3 back before probably Vettel overtakes him for that P3. Then you got Hamilton on the road, the Toro Rosso car afterwards, and then Bottas somewhere in the mix there. But yeah, so Raikkonen up into P2 and now chasing after myself. But like I said, I'm probably going to spoil the satisfaction of overtaking me, because I'm going to come into the pits before I even give him the chance. And of course, Raikkonen will also have one more stop to make. So we are actually legitimately fighting here maybe for a podium, just like Vandoorne. We're trying to hang on here. Hopefully I don't fall to the same fate as Vandoorne and Perez, or definitely Perez. Hopefully I don't get spun round by a Ferrari trying to overtake me, but we'll try our best to see what we can do here. But just like Kevin Magnussen at Monaco, we're going to try and make the best of it. And so far this season, if this is any chance to match Magnussen's win and go 1-for-1 with my teammate, this is it. I mean, we won't even be 1-for-1 because Magnussen's got a podium in 2nd place at Baku and then a win at Monaco. So I'm yet to get either. So I just need to try and do something here to maybe try and match one of those results today. So let's see if we can do something. We're out in P8 then, and it's very awkward pit exit that exits onto the racing line. So a little bit dangerous, but thankfully no AI around me. And so we're going to try and catch up to the Renault guys just behind Red Bull. We've got Hülkenberg there, and he's going to continue on. We've got the Red Bull coming in, though, already. And we've also got the Ferraris coming in already as well. Hamilton's in, I think, there on the top. Yeah, and Raikkonen's in already as well. So we're already up into P5 then, chasing after Hülkenberg in P4. So already we've got Kimi behind us then. So now it's literally a fight between myself and Kimi and traffic. And that first bit of traffic involves Nico Hülkenberg, who's still going quite long on the super soft tyres. We're on soft, so on a slower compound, but he's got more tyre wear on his boots there on the car. So DRS open as well, using some overtake mode on the ERS. Can we close up into turn one? We've got some more people in the pit, so I believe now Hülkenberg might be up into P1 now here, and I might be P2 on the road. And a lovely camera angle there, Paul Ricard. Really nice replay camera shots there. And so yeah, we're up into P3, Hülkenberg P2. Vettel sent the fast lap of the Grand Prix, so behind us the Ferrari's going very strong, and Raikkonen already on the road is behind me in P4, and we're going to make a move now down the inside. We've got the momentum. Can we do it? Oh, so close there with Hülkenberg. The track really awkwardly pinches into the apex, and so that could have been a slam dunk bit of contact, maybe a front wing damage there, but thankfully Hülkenberg thinks better of it, but onto the main straight. I haven't thought about it because actually Hülkenberg's now got DRS on us, so although I had the better speed into that corner, I maybe should have on purpose slowed down and just stayed behind, because Hülkenberg's re-overtaken us now with the DRS. That's very, very powerful down that main straight at the back before the chicane, and he's got past us, and then so we're looking at the back of the Renault once again. So now we go through Sector 3, and Sector 3, although I've got some decent momentum, I feel, through Sector 3, especially in the slow right-hander after this first initial flat-out one, this next one coming up, I feel like I've got a lot better of a momentum line than the AI. I kind of just let off the throttle and kind of lift and coast a little bit and go down the gears and kind of let the engine do the braking for me. I've got some good momentum here, but it's such a tricky area to overtake. Like, every corner is almost off camber and just wants to spit you out. So it's very difficult to, let alone follow a car in this sector and then go overtake them in this sector. And so the last place we can make the pass then is the last corner. That's the only way you can pass someone in Sector 3, I feel. Just a big dive down the inside there. We do make it, and then Hülkenberg ironically comes in. So I almost wasted that time fighting him for him to come in, but I don't know, it's just the racing instinct to overtake the car straight away. And so now we're up into second place, and eventually the other Renault of the science will be in, and so this will be the lead of the French Grand Prix, and Raikkonen will be in P2. So now it's a case of how long is it going to take for Raikkonen to close up to us. I can answer that. It's going to take us literally only a couple of laps then, because on lap 19, Raikkonen is behind us. And looking behind us, he seems so far away, but this is such a long straight, and he's just gaining time and time and time here, as I'm just trying to save some ERS battery here, and he's coming so quickly now. I'm pretty sure he does have DRS, and into the chicane, I just get pressurized into a mistake. Lock up on the left tire, because I knew he was right there, just closing, and so it plays in your mind. And literally, just like some drivers have in real life, I just got basically pressured into a bottle there. And we're down to P2 now. I'm going to fight Kimi, though. We've got some ERS to deploy. I'm going to fight him for this, because I feel like this might be my only chance to fight for a win at the moment this season. So down the inside to try and defend into Sector 3. We scrub across the racing line, and we're going to hold that for P1 right now. Like I said, we need to try and match Magnussen. Even winning this Grand Prix won't match K-Mag, because he'll still have one podium on us. But in Sector 3, the place where I thought was impossible to pass, Kimi is round the outside. He's somehow found the grip, and it's going to be a fantastic move if Kimi can pull it off. We scrub off the speed, though, cut across him, plant it on the apex there, and we're going to keep P1 for now. But Kimi is really quite quick. I think it's only a matter of time before he overtakes us here. We've got DRS here. We're using some ERS, but here he comes now. I'm going to defend to the inside, and we're going to keep it for now, to be fair to us. But like I said, only a matter of time. And now on this next straight, again, same place, different lap, and this time Kimi is so much nearer to us, and so he just flies by, and that might be the pass done. I've literally got nothing to answer for it. I can't dive bomb him from this far back. And so with 7 laps to go, it's all about, well, recompose, save battery. We've not got a lot of battery, so I'm going to go in low ERS mode, save some battery up, and then we're going to wait till the end of the Grand Prix to kind of push a little bit. And so now we move on to lap 23, 4 laps to go. And in the 3 laps that have gone since lap 20, like I said, I've been saving battery. You see on the bottom right there, I went from, the bar was pretty much only where the speed was, the MPH. You can see on the right hand side on the heads-up display, the bar was there, and so now we're pretty much at the rev limiter where the ERS battery has been stored up to. So I've been doing a lot of ERS saving, and so now I can use overtake mode DRS open, also a bit of rich mix. We're actually low fuel now. We're going to the negative, but I'm pushing this car. I'm fully prepared to almost run out of fuel maybe and battery by the end of this race if it means I can close back up to Kimi here. So I'm pushing like an absolute stabbed rat here. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I said that I got the comfiest with the circuit right at the end of this race, and this is why. Because I was so engrossed in catching Kimi that I've said it before in like some past videos a while back now, but I don't know about any of you guys, but I get a lot of tunnel vision and kind of, I don't know, kind of like a hunter v the huntee, I guess, or the kind of prey, where if there's a car in front of me that I'm trying to catch and I can kind of just about have the pace to keep up with him, I get faster and faster because I'm concentrating on just closing them up rather than actually concentrating on the actual driving around the circuit. It's very, very odd, but I feel like if I concentrate on the driving around the circuit, I actually go slower sometimes than trying to catch someone right in front of me. I don't know if anyone else has that. I don't know if there's a term to explain that, but that's what went on there, because you can see I've gone fastest of all of my lap. That was my fastest lap of the Grand Prix on lap 24 there, and so we're closing up with 1.5 laps to go here almost. We are right back up to the behind of Kimi Räikkönen. We've not got a lot of battery left because I've used a lot of it, but we're going to go up into overtake mode here, try and get the speed in the higher gears. Gone purple in the first sector. We're so good through sector 1 here. We just need a chance to pop a move down the inside here. DRS open, ERS deploying, rich mix flowing. Here we go to the inside then of the chicane to make a move for first place. Really hot under the collar, but Kimi just simply outbrakes me completely. We're trying to go the long way around like we did with Ricciardo earlier on. It has worked out. We've got the traction, but we don't have the electrical deployment anymore, and we've got also not a lot of fuel to left. I need to play around with that. We've only got 1 lap left to save the fuel back and get it back into the positive, and also try and save enough battery to defend. And so because of that, I just couldn't have the speed to keep it ahead of Kimi there, and he just outpowered us. And so the works Ferrari, it looks like it to be a bit too strong for the Haas Ferrari, as you would imagine. Obviously Magnussen's win, you know, he got a lot of luck there, and this was also a little bit of luck with the traffic that Kimi hit this race, and also the strategy play of me being in the top 10 yet starting on whatever tyre I want. We get a big tank slapper there, and pretty much now I feel like we need to accept that second place is the max we're getting. We've still got DRS though, so I'm still trying to push, because you just never know. You know, I've said it before, never stop believing. You just never know if Kimi's going to make a mistake, lock up. It's happened before with AI. Who say it can't happen for the lead of the Grand Prix? He makes a mistake, you know, he goes off circuit. I make the move down the inside very easy, and then I can defend very easily into sector 3. You just never know. But at the moment, Kimi's looking very, very strong. But what I can take from this race is a lot of solace of, you know, when I can get the car hooked up, it looks like it does have some genuine raw speed, and it's a testament to the upgrades we've done so far. You know, on the chart, you would have seen earlier in the video, at the very start of the video, that chart, the progression we've made, we're getting closer and closer to the top 3 teams in terms of raw on-paper performance. It's just about trying to keep on improving like this, keep the momentum up, keep the morale up, and eventually, by the end of the season, who knows, we try a last-minute dive there, very, I don't know, ambitious dive, but it doesn't work out. But I don't need to sound sad, because we've got second bloody place here at the French Grand Prix.
Great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé. What a fantastic race it was. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres, but at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
What a fantastic Grand Prix that has been. Really, really happy. Second place here at the French Grand Prix. Who would have thought at Paul Ricard of all places I'd get second place? And to be honest, the way the car felt around there on the last couple of laps, I was up there with Canada, really. Like, I've always heralded Canada as my favourite all-time circuit on F1 games. Like, the way I feel around Canada, the flowing nature of the circuit, the way I can just chop the car around. That felt a lot like that almost at those last couple of laps around Paul Ricard. So really enjoyable, and to match K-Mag's second place at Baku at least is good enough for me for now. Of course, K-Mag still has that win on us. You know, we'll keep on searching. I don't know if it'll come for us quite yet. I don't feel like I'm near a win quite yet. That was the nearest we got, but even that, you know, pretty much, I like to think I could have maybe won that race, but in reality, it looked like Kimi had it under control, to be honest. But we climb up the table then, and we're only 5 points there, I think, behind Magnussen. Red Bull get us back, though, in the Constructors, because K-Mag didn't have a great race, and Red Bull got a third-place podium there, so they get back in the Constructors. But still, all in all, a fantastic, fantastic episode. And for the first time now this season, really, it's felt like I've fully slapped Magnussen back, because up till now, he's been thumping me. He's been definitely the first driver. For the first time there, I felt like the team leader. So now we've got an interview to go to. Let's hit it.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
Right, so obviously it was a really good race. I'm going to go with, I'm really happy that I could meet the team's objectives, because they've been a little bit iffy with me of late, so I'm happy to get a lot of rep here maybe with them.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
I'm going to go with it was the car's nimbleness, you know, the way it danced around Paul Ricard at the end there, I think was a big, big plus for us.
Everything went your way today. It looked like you had a really good strategy for the race.
Obviously our one stop, you know, a good car, and you need a good car with good tyre wear as well, so that's going to be the key. So the right answer there for me, no-brainer.
Things were close between you and your rival, but it looks like you're coming up top, doesn't it?
Now, I really thought about this one. I almost wanted to answer the left-hand side for so long, but then I thought, you know what, screw it. I'm still salty from Monaco. Answer on the right.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So there we have it. We are beating Magnussen, and according to me there, he's not on my level, despite winning a race in a Haas, and I've not yet won a race in a Haas. But there you go. I'm still peeved off from Monaco. Yes, even 2 episodes later. But anyway, it's been a great episode here at the French Grand Prix. We get the bonus of 500 R&D points for our contract perk, so that's really doubly good for our R&D sake, and we're also still beating Carlos Sainz very well in the Teammate Challenge. And then look at that, the team rep has absolutely flown up there. So, you know, like I said, I can maybe decrease the rep in interviews, but if you do well in the race, you do well on the track, it does not matter. It's such a cliche, but just do the talking on the circuit. But move on to the R&D here, and unfortunately for me, I'm actually at that stage where I didn't feel like there was any one upgrade I wanted to do. I really didn't want to do a major aero, because I don't feel like that's where our car's lacking. I wanted to focus on the chassis side, and so instead, surprisingly, maybe to you guys, because I never did this in 2017, but I'm going to spend a second token on the efficiency of the chassis department, which is going to make things even cheaper on the chassis side of things for the car development. So when we do get this major done, working into the minor upgrades there is going to be even quicker and quicker. So we're going to really delve into and go all our eggs into one basket of the chassis side of the car, and that's the way we're going to go about it. But guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, you can subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava. Home just today. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.